What makes Prometheus unique in the series is that it tries to be both a philosophical film and a monster film. As a philosophical film, it doesn't work very well. It asks a lot of intriguing questions,
Where do we come from? What is our purpose? What happens when we die?
but makes little attempt to answer most of them. The only one that is answered
Where do we come from?
is answered in the very first scene. We learn that the creators changed their minds and wanted to destroy us, adding the question,
I need to know why. What did we do wrong? Why do you hate us?
as I mentioned in my Alien review, in a sci-fi film where extreme and downright strange things happen, it is important for us to have something human to connect to. In films where questions like these are asked, there needs to be some sort of commentary on the state of humanity or the human condition. The concept of God not wanting us to live anymore would have been the perfect time to discuss this, but the film makes no attempt to do so. This leads to what I think the worst aspect of this film is, the ending. As we've seen, there were a lot of questions asked, a ton of build-up to the answers, yet the film ends with Shaw going off to look for those answers. How is that different from the beginning of the film? Well, I'll tell you. At the end, we have even more questions than we started with, making this film seem like nothing more than a build-up for the sequel, which may never be made, instead of its own film. This is a problem I had with another film that came out that same summer.
And that piece of shit Amazing Spider-Man movie that they released in 2012.
Some people attribute this to Lindelof, since apparently the same thing happened in Lost. I've even heard some people coin the phrase Lindeloft. It's not all bad, though. There are some nice parallels drawn between the engineer's creation of humanity and humanity's creation of robots. Also, in the confrontation with the engineer, we see Wayland asking for immortality from creatures that the audience knows makes their living by self-sacrifice. What could be more offensive to them than asking for immortality? In the end, the creator destroys his creation with its own creation. Despite my griping about the ending, or lack thereof, at the end we do feel for Shaw and the hell she's been through. There's also a nice resolution for David's character when he silently admits to a superior aspect of humanity that he sees in Shaw that he himself doesn't have. As a monster movie, this film does better. We get to see interesting new, but familiar creatures, we get to learn what the space jockeys are, we learn the purpose of the original creatures, and we get a really cool scene of surgery. This is easily the best scene of the film.
You're pregnant. It's not exactly a traditional fetus.
This shocking news forces a fight against time, as sooner or later, a creature's going to burst from Shaw's abdomen. It's really tense watching Shaw fight her way to the emergency med pod. The surgery itself is as suspenseful and scary as the chest burster in the original film. We feel Shaw's pain as much as we felt Kane's. One certainly wouldn't undergo the surgery awake. Ugh. This does come across as a diamond in the rough, though. This great scene almost feels shoved in the film. When Shaw escapes to perform surgery on herself, no one goes looking for her, despite their wanting to quarantine her for the creature and her attack on the crew members. After the surgery is performed and Shaw is found, no one goes back to check on the alien baby Shaw gave birth to, despite this being a scientific mission and the crew's lack of certainty about whether it's safe or not. Maybe Wayland could search for his immortality in the squid baby. The reason this great scene feels out of place is that it was in the original Spate script. When Lindelof reworked the script, he was told to keep this scene in no matter how poorly it fit in the film. After all, it was this film's chestburster scene. Despite many good monster movie elements, outside of the surgery scene, the film is not very suspenseful. The reason being that there's not an ever-present sense of danger. Sure, the black goo is dangerous, but if left alone, it can't really do anything to the characters. Let's look at the events that resulted in the danger in this film. Fifield and Milburn get lost like morons, causing them to go into the only dangerous room in the pyramid, further causing Milburn to get himself killed and Fifield infected. Fifield then kills half the crew. On the other end, David deliberately infects Holloway, causing him to die and Shaw to get pregnant with the squid baby. Everyone dies because of either incompetence or experimentation, not because of an ever-present danger. As a suggestion to improve on this, get rid of the whole Fifield and Milburn thing. Have Shaw remove a creature and let that creature run amok on the ship, like what happened in the Spate script. This would create an ever-present danger, and, as in the Spate script, with Shaw kept safe in the med pod with time to heal, it would better explain how she's able to perform crazy stunts after having such a major surgery. Further hurting the suspense in Prometheus is the fact that we know, almost from the start, that Shaw is going to be the last survivor. Grant pointed out in his review that there was a similar problem in Aliens with Ripley and the Marines. At least in that film we liked the Marines, even if they were a bit boneheaded. They're certainly much better than these quote-unquote scientists. Overall though, I don't really think this is a bad film. Not great, but not bad. It does deserve credit for doing something different in a series that prided itself as being different takes on pretty much the same story. I think the quality of this film is summed up best in the Wayland viral video.
You know that I will settle for nothing short of greatness, or I will die trying.
Now, I don't know who's at fault for the shortcomings in this film. Lindelof is an easy target because of Lost, but having read the scripts, he actually did improve on the dialogue in the Spate script. It was a film with as many production problems as Alien 3, but that film was at least coherent. This film needed a few more drafts. Prometheus did end in an interesting enough way that I would want to watch a sequel, but despite high expectations of Ridley Scott returning to sci-fi and the Alien universe, this film is just unremarkable. Sure, the visuals were great, David was a great character, the medpod scene is one of the best in the series, and there are some nice references to the previous films in the series, but these alone do not make a great story. It constantly goes between a monster movie and a philosophical movie, an Alien prequel and a standalone film, a Spate script and a Lindelof script. This film will never be considered a mammoth sci-fi classic like the first two films. It may, however, garner a small cult following like the third film. On its own, it's a decent sci-fi film that aims high but falls very short of its mark.
It is New Year's Day, the year of our Lord, 2094. My name is Elizabeth Shaw, last survivor of the Prometheus, and I'm still searching.
How long? 16 inches fully erect. Varies when it's relaxed.